Hey guys, Dylan with Salmon River Tactics. um, Tigger, is that you behaving? Uh, this is my second take because kept clawing at me and hopping up on here on the desk. Um, so we'll see. Just a little quick update. So another certification I acquired the other day. As I have my handy dandy folder of shenanigans. I'm now certified through ECSI, which is the Emergency Care and Safety Institute, to teach wilderness first aid and CPR AED for infant, child, and adult. A lot of folks might not have heard of ECSI. It is not as common as your American Red Cross or your American Heart Association. Red Cross, years ago, used to offer wilderness first aid. I would have to dig back in the weeds and kind of tweak my memory on when that stopped and why, because off the top of my head, I'm not sure. But they used to do it years ago. Today, at least in the US, to my knowledge, they are the only ones that offer it. It is what we use in search and rescue. To certify people for being field ready, and if you don't have that, among some other stuff, you ain't going in the field. The CPR side, we'll take ECSI, or we'll take American Red Cross, or we'll take Heart Association. Overall, for the most part, CPR is pretty universal. Different agencies might tweak very minor things, but at the end of the day, 30 compressions, 2 breaths. 30 compressions, 2 breaths. For an adult, that's standard across the board. Then your infant and your child, a little different, and then you have 1 rescuer, 2 rescuer, that changes a little bit. End of the day with CPR, not to go on a tangent, but end of the day with CPR, especially during COVID, compressions only became a thing. And the way we'll teach it by the book, but in real life, we also make this disclaimer of whether it's one of us search people teaching it or someone at the fire department. Unless we know you personally, family, friend, child, a baby, significant other, I am not doing mouth to mouth on you without some sort of barrier, whether it's a pocket mask or a BVM. There's too much crap people have that I don't want, that you don't want. And then on top of that, blood, vomit, spit, just no. The risks outweigh the rewards of maybe getting the person back. The more important thing is compressions, keep that blood flowing to the brain and as much of the body as we can get the blood pumping to. But ideally, this is what you're trying to keep alive. And even with that said, for those of us who have done this for a couple of years, or more than a couple of years, the rate of success of doing CPR is unfortunately not very good. I think over my pushing 10 years between search and rescue, or 9 going on 10 years of search and rescue, and I joined the fire department in 2019. So what is that, 6 years? I've done CPR on a number of people, and I have seen 2 come back. Um, and one was very briefly, then unfortunately that person passed. Um, and I'm not counting like Narcan saves, because we've had a few of those too. Um, but actual cardiac, where someone's heart has stopped, outside of using opiates, um, I've seen 2 people come back. It's not a great success rate, but knowing how to do this or do that, and doing it as soon as you can, is the best chance that this person has to make it. Um, but back to this. It's the difference between wilderness first aid and your basic first aid that you were going to get from Red Cross or American Heart or any of those kind of entities is your parameters for your time frame of care. Okay? Normal basic first aid, taught to anyone who really wants to know, um, from your high school student to your lifeguard to your uh, coaches at schools or at gyms and martial arts studios, and what the vast majority of people are taught is, how can I help this person and keep them alive or give them the best case scenario until I can get an ambulance within 10 to 30 or within 5 to 30 minutes. You flip that to the search and rescue side. The Boy Scouts of America, they get certified by this, um, and a handful of other um, kind of national entities. The time frame. I need to be able to do all the stuff a basic person can do, but can I do that and maintain that for up to 24 hours? Because that might be what it takes to get this person out of the woods. Um, from your major issues of strokes and heart attacks and cardiac arrests and um, diabetic emergencies, which that goes into a different thing. All the way down to your breaks and scrapes and sprains and dislocations, how to deal with allergies from plants and animals, um, how to deal with certain levels of trauma, how to deal with hypothermia, how to deal with shock, how to deal with C-spine and neck and back injuries, and a plethora of different things. I'm scattered a little bit here, but hopefully you get the idea. On a good day, 5 minutes, and we don't do anything. Oh, you have a cut. Okay, here's a band-aid, and let's walk out of the woods. To worst case scenario, it's middle of winter, it's snowing, you broke your ankle, you're 3 miles, 5 miles out in the woods off a trail, and it's nightfall, and best case scenario on that point is, let's just say it's a break. We splint you up, we get you warm, get you under a tarp, get a fire going, wait until daylight, and hopefully with our communication in the field to the command post, who then to the 911 center, we can arrange. Okay, can we get a helicopter nearby? Can we get overnight while we're maintaining this person's uh, stability and health in those couple hours until daylight? Can we get some resources to get an ATV back to us? Can we get resources to chainsaw a trail from the closest trail to us to then get an ATV to get this person? Stuff like that. That's a different mentality than your basic first aid. That's why basic first aid is only, I'd have to look, it's either 4 or 8 hours. But basic wilderness, or not basic, but wilderness first aid is 16 hours. It's 2 full days. It is more training than your traditional stuff. The caveat to that is it is still a basic level, meaning this is not EMT certified. Now, we can have EMTs that are also trained in wilderness first aid, so they can bring their EMT capabilities with it. But as it sets, if you have wilderness first aid, you are not an EMT until you get your EMT credentials. Meaning, I cannot give oxygen, I cannot give glucose, and what else can I? Oh, epinephrine. With that little caveat of we can assist, and this goes for the layperson too. If you're dealing with your patient, your subject, and they go, I just got stung by a bee, I'm allergic. Okay. Do you have an EpiPen? Yes. Can you get to it? And this is hypothetical. Can you get to it? Yes, it's in my pocket or in my backpack or whatever. Okay. Get it. I'm going to help you. So if they have it in their hand, I can assist them in administering that. That's how the law reads. That's how you can assist. I cannot assume that that person is having an allergy attack, see an EpiPen, and jab them. Is it going to hurt the person? Probably not, but that's the gray area. Stuff like diabetic, glucose, insulin. I am not giving insulin. Not having it. I don't care if you have an auto-injecting pen. Not doing it. Glucose, hey, you're a diabetic. You have anything you can eat to get your sugar up or whatever? Okay. I will help you acquire that while you're still conscious and observe you doing it and be there for aid if you start not doing too well. Does that make sense? Oxygen, it's one of those things like, it's oxygen. We all breathe it. We all need it. But admittedly, I don't know what to set the O2 tank to for your levels or whatever. I know how to turn the thing on, turn it off. Been doing that for years in the fire department. All right, you need it on. Where's the wrench? Okay. And then the EMT or the paramedic sits there and they do the dial. I don't know that. And I will admit that. Part of training and part of teaching is knowing your capabilities and what you do know and what you don't know, and admitting that you don't know certain things. If you don't know certain things, say, I don't know, or I will get back to you, or I can get you in touch with someone who does. So this certification, for the most part, is for me on the search and rescue side. Um, Currently, I'm team coordinator for my team, which is um, I'm happy to do it. It's a great learning thing. It's a lot, but that's a different story. We are having people retire or give up their credentials to teach, to kind of take a step back and or be with their family more or whatever. Um, so there's the need for more instructors, which I've been trying for a couple years to do this. That's been a headache and a half of trying to understand the, at the time, poorly written credentials or qualifications on the website. I finally just said, screw it, here's all my shit. What do I need to do, given this, in order to get certified to teach? At a minimum, because I'm part of a search and rescue team that requires this as our medical training. And we're going to be down a few instructors, so I want to backfill. On the flip side, Boy Scouts of America use this, and some other outdoors entities. Being able to hold classes and help teach those just adds to things. But yeah, so added that to the old list of certifications. And not really for the teaching aspect or like the company side of it. Next month in October, I will be taking it's a 2-day class. It's ICS 400. For those in the emergency management, they're interested in emergency management. That's what I have my degree in. And on top of that, I'm actually looking to go back to school to do my bachelor's. Right now, I have my associates. A lot of things going through my head. But that is, because right now I have ICS 300, ICS 400 kind of tops that aspect of things. It is going further into interagency operability, how to manage a critical incident, how to manage an expanding incident. And ideally, you're not doing this by yourself. You're using a unified command and working with a small group of other incident commanders from different backgrounds. On the search side, being the team coordinator or the chief, we work in incident command, in unified command, very often. Vast majority of the time, at least here in New York, I think it's pretty common nationally. Search and rescue incidents are a law enforcement issue until proven otherwise. Or it's a missing person. Now, did this person go missing on their own accord, or was there nefarious actions that led to this person going missing? We've worked both sides. We've worked the runaway child, the autistic child, the Alzheimer's patient, I'm out in the woods and I went to take a leak off trail and I can't find where the hell I came from. Okay. Or are we looking for someone who was part of a homicide? Which we've been on those two. Are we looking for someone years later? At this point, we're on a recovery mission to just find their body or bones. Either way, it's a law enforcement issue. A lot of times the fire departments will get dispatched as manpower in their district to aid in the search. And that varies county to county and their training and I won't go into that. But I lost my train of thought. Damn it. Oh, unified command. That's what I was getting at. Being that it's a law issue first, and then usually fire departments get dispatched, and then depending on the county or the local area, they might work it for a couple hours and realize, I don't know what, either we're over our head and we're getting into territory we don't know much about. We don't have the manpower, we don't have the resources, yada, yada, yada. And then they tone out a search and rescue team. When we get there, I don't assume command, or if one of the other officers shows up or one of the senior members shows up first, or if none of us are around, they're the ones that would assume the search and rescue command. I don't assume command from anybody. Because it's not my incident. How do I put this? I was not the first agency to be dispatched to it. In search and rescue, that is very, very rare that we would be the first to get dispatched. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a law agency. 1 times out of 10, it might be a fire agency, who then goes, give me a law enforcement. Give me a car. So at a minimum, you have fire and you have law to start. When we show up, now you're in search and rescue. You're going to have the senior officer, the sergeant, captain, lieutenant, somebody from the law side there as their command. You're going to have one of the fire chiefs, or a captain or a lieutenant, as fire command. And then you're going to have one of our officers as search and rescue command. Ideally, let's just say from those 3 entities, you have fire, law, and search and rescue. You're going to have 1 officer from each agency. And if we bring our command unit, we'll all get in the rig. What do we have? And we'll feed information and ideas back off each other. Okay. What's law's focus? What does fire know about this? How many boots on the ground can we get from that side of things? Do you have any EMTs in your department that are here? What do you have for capabilities? Do you have ATVs? Do you have drones? Do you have a boat? Do you have XYZ? I'm going to feed off you. If this is a town I'm not too familiar with, what's the lay of the land? Have we dealt with this person before? Has law dealt with this person before? Has, on the fire side, have they had calls for health issues with this person? You're feeding back and forth with each other of trying to figure out a plan, try to figure out resources, trying to get the wealth of knowledge of people with experience and mostly senior people, to be able to utilize our resources effectively, coordinate with other resources in the coming days if this becomes a longer issue. And then when it does become a longer issue, or this evolves into something more than we were thinking to begin with, okay, maybe it started as runway and now we start doing some research and investigation on the law side, or we find stuff in the field of, this doesn't look right. Okay. Now we have to change course into something else that's more law geared. Or, we find something and we're like, maybe this person's having a medical issue. Because tracking them or finding clues and different things, just things aren't making sense. In the coming days, we can request more manpower, we can request different resources, we can allocate maybe we're looking in the wrong place. Okay, let's try somewhere else. So those IC type classes are very good for your line officers, for your chiefs, um, for the folks that have done the boots on the ground work for years and that are in a commander role, trying to lead folks in the field. Because at the end of the day, not only do we all want to find our subject or subjects. It is all of our responsibilities as leadership or as commanding officers. First and foremost, my crew, police officers in the field, my fire buddies or EMTs that are out helping us with this, their safety is number one priority. I need my people back. And all that being said, it can get extremely extremely complicated, especially when you start going at 24, 48, 72 hours, pushing a week. Because I've been on searches that have, not for a week straight, but okay, I went on day 8 of a search. They get very in depth. A lot of paperwork and a lot of long hours.